TIs. It's May 16th. And let me say that again, May 16th, 2023. I also want to say that I hope you guys are all doing okay. I didn't say Happy Mother's Day because I didn't do a video that day because I had to work, but Happy Mother's Day. I also want to say that, even though it's belated, I also want to say that that last video I did, the terrorists, the perps, they messed with that video. They messed with the date. I did not say April, I said May, and they changed it. What they do is, my phone is intensely hacked, and they also changed another word towards the ending of that video, and they made it to a word that I don't even know. I can't even tell what it's saying, but I didn't say that either. It's towards the end of the video. They also have a program that's called the Dumb program that they install on a lot of TIs electronics, their phones and their computers. I have it on all my stuff. Anytime that you type anything, like if I'm trying to make a comment on a channel or something like that, when I'm typing, it'll be double letters, like double R's, when double R's don't belong there. The spelling will be changed in real time when you're typing it. Like, you can type one word, and then when you go back to look, it's a whole different word. They'll leave spaces, like when you're in your comment box, you'll be typing a sentence, and then you'll try to complete the sentence, and there'll be a big space, and you can't go back because they leave the spaces so they can remove words or add words, which they do to me all the time. And I've also seen that in real time when I'm working on my work computer. I've seen it in real time when they've changed it in real time. I could actually see it being done. The next time they do that, I'm going to record it. Also, too, there's several things I want to talk about. Let me mention this last thing about that. When I'm if you hear like a noise in the background, that's my fan because I'm in a hot state. It's hot here. And I do apologize for that. But the other thing I wanted to say is that when I'm making videos, if you hear me coughing a lot or sniffing a lot, that is not me doing that. They add that to my videos too, all the time. And when I'm watching other content creators, other YouTube videos, I will hear that all through their videos. Like coughing, even when they're trying to talk, they'll insert those. Every 2 minutes they're coughing, like a bad cough. I hear that on all my videos, all of them. In my videos and on other people's videos, they add that. My phone's hacked, they add that. They also take pictures of everything that I look at. Like if I'm looking at an apartment online, if I'm looking at something I want to buy, if I'm looking at a picture, they will snap a picture and I can actually see it in real time. They take pictures of everything I'm looking at. They listen to all my phone calls, of course, like all TIs. All of you guys go through that. And again, I want to mention really quick that when they're listening to your phone calls, it's not because they're nosy. It's because they're trying to gather. It's information gathering. It's intelligence. And they use anything they can against you. That's why they gather that. Anything that you said, they're trying to look for something to use against you. They go through your garbage because they collect DNA from your garbage. It's not because they're stupid. It's because they're collecting DNA. They don't do anything without a reason. None of this is a game. There's a factual reason behind it. So there's that. And I want to also mention too that all your electronics can be hacked. Electronics can be hacked. Your TV can be hacked. Anything that's electronical, your car, your TV, your computer, anything that's electronics can be hacked. And just like credit cards can be hacked. All of that can be hacked. And so when you're talking on the phone with somebody, let's say your best friend, and you hear something that wouldn't be like them, like they said something that kind of hurts your feelings, It probably did not come from them. It's probably because your phone's hacked and they put that information in there while you're talking to your friend. I have tested this theory because I've had my friend repeat the same thing 2 or 3 times and they said, no, I didn't say that. Where'd you get that from? They, they have AI that can replicate voices. So there you go. And also, too, I want to mention, too, that a lot of this electronic stuff is all we know it. We're way behind the times because, the government and all that is 40 or 50 years ahead of us. And they don't give that out because people will do bad things with it, like they did with the TI program. So that's why they don't give it out. But I want to let you know that a lot of people think GPS just came out. It didn't. It's been out for years and years and years. I remember way years and years ago when the semis, because they're worth a lot of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars, they had GP trackers on them way back years ago, like back in the 90s or maybe before. They always know where those drivers are at because the trucks are worth so much money. There's always trackers. And if, us TIs, we're not going to, because most of us don't have the money because they asset strip us. But if you were rich and you could just go buy a brand new car off the showroom floor and you were going to make payments, you put a hefty down payment and it was an expensive car, you're going to make, well, just a regular car really, and you're going to make payments on the rest of the car. There's like 6 trackers in those cars, or I don't exactly know the amount, but there's a lot of trackers. And the reason for that is if you don't pay for the car, they always want to know where the car is so they can repossess it. So they do put trackers in, and they're supposed to tell you about it, but they don't always. But yeah, most cars have trackers in them. So there's that. Let's see, what else? I have noticed that most, that always happens when I'm trying to do a video. It's just a bogus text coming across some sales thing or something. I have noticed that, that most TIs, all TIs go through the base program, which is the sound, the color, these are all triggers, the color coordination, the sound, sometimes the V2K, that's all the base program. Most of us get that in some kind of, it's the sound harassment, the color harassment, all that kind of stuff. That's all triggers. It's psychology. You can look it up. It's in psychology books. And then they tailor the rest of the program, the other parts of the program, to your personality. So, and I forgot to mention the lights. That's another trigger too. Lights are a trigger. But they tailor the rest of the program to your personality. So if you're religious, right away they want to find out how religious you are. If you're very religious, then they use that against you. They say demons. They start trying to convince you that this is a demon-related program if you're real religious. It's a play on your personality. It's a play on your beliefs. They use every single piece of information they can gather about you against you. If you go to church a lot, then they'll use that against you. They'll tell you the programs, it's demons. They'll use the religious. They tried to find out about me. They had people asking me all the time, what religion are you? Every few minutes at work, what religion are you? What religion are you? When I'd go somewhere else, they'd have somebody else ask me. I'm religious, but I'm not religious orientated. I don't believe in churches or anything like that. I think that a lot of them are wolves in sheep's clothing. I think all they care about is money and not helping anyone, especially a lot of the larger churches. And I've seen that with my own eyes. Like, I've seen that. with my own eyes. Just like, you know, they take up all this money saying, oh, we're going to put it, like they have these reliefs in their church, like relief organizations. But yet when you could pay and pay and pay to the church all your life, and then you could lose your job, or you could leave your husband, or vice versa, and you could be homeless with your kids, and you go back to that same church that you gave all that money. And I've heard a lot of people say this. I heard this one lady say, I gave over $100,000 to the church in my lifetime, and I went back for help, and they wouldn't even give me any groceries or help me pay my rent or anything. And I had kids because she got a divorce from her husband. So, I don't really believe in churches. I mean, I'm not saying that's the case every time with everybody, but I just really don't believe in organized religion. I believe that there is good and evil. I don't believe in demons. I don't believe in any of that. I believe there is a higher power. I do believe that. I believe God. I believe in God. I don't just believe, I think that a lot of churches are cultish, I'm more of a peace-loving person, and think that you should help everybody, even the homeless people, because all of us are homeless, right? Somebody made the comment, and I believe this is true. Well, if I was born on earth, why do I have to pay to be here? I think that's a good analogy. Why do we have to pay to be somewhere we were born here? Why do I have to pay to be here? To live here when I was born here, born on earth? Whose ideal is that? I mean, that's dumb. If you look at the whole, economical world, who is it all benefiting? Is it benefiting the worker? Is it benefiting the bee workers? No. I mean, the whole thing don't make sense. Yeah. I got a different vibe than a lot of people. I'm more of an earth. Take care of the earth. Don't try to hurt anyone now that I'm older. Don't hurt anyone. Live in peace. I'm more of that type of person. Is it called altruistic or something like that? Forget the word for that. Altruistic, I think, or something like that. I forget the word. I'm more of that type of person. But, I was going to mention this too really quick, and I'm sure you guys all know this, but I always look at as things develop, I always look at it as in the clock, because the clock is time, right? So right now the clock's hand is at the top for these perps and these evil people. It's at the top. And it can stay at the top, and they're doing well, and they're on the top of their game because the hand's at the top, right? It's at the top. And it can stay like that for many, many years. But there isn't ever a time where that clock's hand don't eventually go to the bottom. And it will go to the bottom, and when it does, these people are all going to pay for what they've done. All this evil they've done to us, STIs, they're going to pay. They're going to pay a lot. They're going to pay, and their family's going to pay. They're going to pay just like we did for generations. They're going to pay. It's just not going to be them. It's going to be generations of their family. It's going to pay. Because, there isn't ever a time where that clock hand, not the wheel, the clock hand don't always drop to the bottom. It's like yin and yang. It eventually happens. It always happens. Just like they killed all of the Jewish people in World War II. I mean, that went on for quite a long time, but it wasn't a time where it didn't change. It finally changed, and now look, a lot of the Jewish people own a lot of the a lot of things here in the United States. A lot of the sports teams, a lot of the businesses, they own a lot. They own a lot of the companies. They own a lot. You just don't hear about it, but they own a lot because they're not people that are boisterous, but they own a lot. So the clock has changed for them. And that's my point. There isn't ever a time, I might not see it in my lifetime, but there isn't ever a time where that hand don't fall. And what is the thing that they always, like the biggest saying that they always have for our TIs? I notice a lot of TIs have mentioned this, and they always say this to me as, you reap what you sow. That's a big, like, perped thing said to us. And, that's a big perp statement that's always said by perps. And the same thing, too, for them. Same thing for them. You're going to reap what you sow. And I'm not talking to you guys. I'm talking to the perps. They're going to reap what they sow, too. Because this is wrong. How can you put somebody in a program for a lifetime and cause burns and bruises and cause them to be, like, assets, strip them and, like, cause them to be hungry? How can you do that? How can you do that? The same way they did in World War II, huh? But like I said, that clock hands always comes down eventually. So yeah, I'm not saying I'm without fault. I should have handled my situation better, but I didn't know what was going on. I should have handled things better, but I was young. I should have handled. They like to tell you that you're doing this wrong and that wrong. Well, everyone around you, like at my job, they're always throwing things in my face all the time, but yet I know supervisors that had to do breathalyzers just so they can drive to work. So no, you're not going to do that to me at my job. You're not. So, you're not going to try to make me look bad when you are just as bad as me, or if not worse. We all make mistakes. We all do. I'm not saying that getting a DUI is horrible. I'm just saying that we all make mistakes. I haven't murdered anybody. I haven't hurt it. I don't try to hurt anybody. I've tried to live a good life, whatever little life I have left. I try not to hurt anybody. You learn as you get wisdom as you get older. And that's really all I have to say. Peace and love.